Namaste, my name is Rishabh and I am an architect based out of New Delhi. I am a lead AP in building design and construction, and in today's video we're going to talk about life cycle assessment and life cycle costing and triple bottom line. So we'll be covering three topics which are very crucial for your lead green associate exam, and I'm sure you'll get at least 2 to 3 questions in your exam based on these topics. So please give good focus to these topics, and please first of all sit back, relax and enjoy the video, and whatever things that you need to note down will be highlighted in yellow, and you can pause the video over there, but please make sure you understand the concepts first. And this video is part of a social initiative, so we are trying to create a community of skilled professionals who want to work towards mitigating climate change. So please hit like, subscribe and share and with your friends who want to prepare for lead course. And yeah, let's get going. Let's begin with life cycle approach and triple bottom line. The life cycle approach to green buildings has changed the way cost and impacts of the products and services are viewed. Using the life cycle approach, the environmental and financial impacts of the projects are considered over the lifetime of the project. The life cycle approach to green building has two elements. The first one is the life cycle assessment, and the other one is the life cycle cost. So in first we'll talk about life cycle assessment, in which diving into the concept of life cycle assessment or LCA and why it's so crucial for understanding the environmental impacts of the product. So grab your reusable water bottle and let's get started. As the name suggests, the focus of life cycle assessment is on environmental consideration of product. During an LCA, short form for life cycle assessment, all environmental impacts associated with the product throughout its life cycle is identified. Let me demonstrate that with an example. Now imagine you're holding a product in your hand. Have you ever wondered about the journey it took to get into your hands? That's where life cycle assessment comes in. LCA is a comprehensive evaluation that examines the entire life cycle of the product from its creation to its ultimate disposal. Let's break it down, shall we? First, we have upstream activities. This includes from sourcing of raw material, manufacturing components, and transporting them to the production facility. We are talking about all the energy consumed, resources extracted, the emissions generated during this phase. The second one is the downstream activities. This encompasses the product's usage phase, where energy consumption, maintenance requirement, and potential emissions are taken into account. We also consider what happens at the end of the life cycle, such as recycling, disposal, or even potential reuse. So upstream is basically from production till getting into your hand, and downstream is basically the amount of energy spent on the maintenance. LCA also factors in embodied energy, waste, and byproduct creation, and even the potential for recycling. It's a comprehensive approach that leaves no stone unturned when it comes to understanding the product's environmental impact. To put it into perspective, let's consider a popular item, let's say a smartphone. By conducting a LCA, we can assess the environmental implications of its product usage and disposal, from mining of rare earth minerals to energy intensive manufacturing process. Each step has an impact. A little fun fact for you: Apple every year publishes its LCA report, and it has a very comprehensive way of actually dismantling the used smartphone and recycling the material that can be put into a newer smartphones. So Apple is one of the greenest tech companies that exist. But I think it's the second greenest tech company. The first one is some other company. So LCA empowers us to make informed decisions. It helps it helps manufacturers identify opportunities for improvements, develop more sustainable products, and minimize environmental harm. It also enables us consumers to make conscious choices by considering a product's life cycle impact before purchasing. Moving forward, let's understand now what is life cycle costing. This all was life cycle assessment, and the other one is life cycle costing. The focus of life cycle costing, also known as LCC, is on cost consideration of the product. LCC is an analytical tool used to determine the most cost effective option among the competition alternatives based on cost of options throughout their life cycle. The LCC helps us choose a system for cheaper life cycle costs so that the building in its operation phase helps you save money. Let me explain you this through an example. Let's say a client wants to buy an HVAC system and has approached you to help him choose a system. we have two options of the system in which the initial cost of the first system is almost double than the second one, but when we club all the parameters of its operation over the span of the expected life, the running cost of the first system is half than the second one. It would be wise to opt for the first system even though it being double cost initially, but in longer run it'll help you save a lot of money. This is what life cycle costing is all about. So either you can buy product and material based on life cycle assessment, or you can buy it using life cycle costing. Now let us understand some very important terms related to life cycles. Please make note of them as they are most likely to be tested during your exam. The first is cradle to grave. Let us understand what is it through an example. Let's say you want to buy a smartphone. A life cycle begins the extraction of raw materials such as metals and minerals needed to manufacture the smartphone. This includes mining process, energy consumption, and transportation. So cradle to grave is basically an open system, which basically means like we take our materials, we source material, use it, and then completely dispose it. So it's just a linear system that is happening. That's what open system means, which we will discover further in the future videos. And obviously, this system is not sustainable, and it is a linear consumption to waste kind of model. The second one is cradle to grave. Okay, you can pause the video and take a note of this. Now that you understand cradle to grave, let's understand cradle to cradle system. Let us understand also through this an example. Let's say when you dispose a smartphone, like you've used your iPhone for let's say 10 years, now you want to dispose it. So the recycle company tears down the smartphone piece by piece and reuse them in the new smartphone, or recycles a part in any possible way. Only the parts that cannot be used again are sent to landfill, overall reducing the amount being diverted to landfill. Reusing what can be reused. Cradle to cradle materials are more sustainable. They are reused at the end of the useful life. Cradle to cradle is a continuous loop of reuse that eliminates waste, and that's where the closed system means. Let's say you buy a phone and you use it over a span of 5 years, then you want a new phone and you go and have an exchange policy. So the company tears down the smartphone, and let's say the battery is reusable. So it will use the battery in the newer version, and while discarding the rest of the mobile parts. So overall, there has been an overall reduction the amount going to the landfill. That's what the closed system means, and this is a more sustainable way of doing things, and it's a continuous loop of reuse. So you can pause the video and take a note of this thing for your LEED GA exam. And now moving on to the next one. The next one is triple bottom line. Another very important concept for your LEED Green Associate exam. In triple bottom line approach to business, stakeholders are the main focus rather than only shareholders. Stakeholders include your employee, building occupants, community members, and shareholders. For example, usually a shareholder decides most of the things which are primarily based on reaping more profits, but in triple bottom line, all the stakeholders have a say in the project, and the profits are not only driving force in decision making but a small part of it. Consumers want to buy products from companies that have responsible practice towards employees, environment, and socially. Triple bottom line helps them balance them all. Another example is usually these big tech companies go on mass hire, and when the times are lean, they tend to go mass fire. It becomes very difficult for such companies to maintain a good market share and have a good image. Again, this is an important concept, so please remember the idea behind triple bottom line, and that is people, that is social, planet that is environment, and profit that is economics. Please pause the video and you should take a note of this thing. And now moving to the end, thank you for watching this video, and please check out the question bank link attached in the description, and feel free to reach out to me on the given email ID and Instagram, and see you in the next video on integrative and iterative process. Thank you.